Hello, in today's nostalgic math chat, I am going to talk about the quadratic formula and how that formula comes about. So, quadratic formula, I'm sure you're very familiar with at this point, but basically, the quadratic formula gives us the solution to any quadratic equation that looks like this, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a can't be zero. Right, otherwise it wouldn't be a quadratic equation, and also we'd have a problem dividing by zero. So anyway, so this is something that we've come to know quite comfortably, I'd imagine, by the time you're in grade 12. And where this formula comes from is actually quite simple. If you were to take this equation and solve it by completing the square, this is the result you come to. So that's what we're going to do together today. So we have ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so the first thing we know to do when completing the square is to, well, you could start in a couple of places actually. I guess you could subtract this constant from both sides. So then you just have ax squared plus bx is equal to minus c. Then the next thing we need to do is to get rid of this a so that we just have 1x squared, right? So to get rid of that a, we will divide by a. So now we have x squared plus b over a x is equal to negative c over a. Okay, then we get to the part where we have to add some constant that will make this a perfect square. And we know that that constant is half of b over a squared. Okay, and we need to add the same thing on this side. So I'm just going to quickly work out what this is. So this is half, so let's write it as b over 2a squared. And we can really just keep it in the squared form because that helps us factorize the expression. So I'm just going to rub this out because it's bulky. Okay, so we saw that it is, let me do it in a different color, b over 2a squared. So we add it on this side as well. Now I'm just going to move this, running out of space. Huh? Try it again. Better. Okay, right, so we add it here as well. So b over 2a squared. Okay, and that helps us factorize this. We know that it's going to be x plus b over 2a squared, right? And over here we have minus c over a. Here I'll actually work it out and expand it. So that will be b squared at the top and 4a squared at the bottom. Okay, and then I think what I'll do is I'll put this over one denominator. The lowest common denominator is 4a squared. So this will stay as is. This one will need to times the top and the bottom. Times the top and the bottom with 4a, right? So that we get 4a squared at the bottom. So then that'll be minus 4ac, and you can kind of see some of the formula coming together, right? This is b squared minus 4ac, that's like that guy over there, right? But forward we go. Oh, okay, let's make things smaller so that everything fits into one page. Okay, almost there. I'm not willing to go onto a new page. Right, so then to get just x, the first thing we're going to need to do is square root both sides, right? And remember, we will have to consider plus or minus. Okay, that's me being very lazy, but yeah, as long as you see the vision. All right, so that's x plus b over 2a will be equal to plus or minus, and I'll write it as we see it in the formula, b squared minus 4ac, just switching those terms around, right? And if you have square root of a over b, we know that that's the same as square root of a over square root of b. So we can do the same thing here as well, right? And we don't have to plus or minus both the bottom and the top. We can just decide where we want to take the plus or minus, right? So that will be plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac, and the square root of 4a squared is 2a, right? And then now, grand finale, we need to minus b over 2a on both sides. So then x will be minus b over 2a plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac. But we notice that these both have the same denominator, so we can actually just put them over the same denominator. So that will be minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So the solution to any equation that looks like that, where a isn't 0 and b and c are real numbers, and a is also a real number, then the solution is x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And that's where the quadratic formula comes from.